Welcome to another episode of the Post Game. I am your host Davion, and I'm joined by my boy Freddie
What's good?
and my boy Matt.
What up?
And we're gonna missing our boy Eli today, but it's been a while since we had you on. Freddie, man, how you doing? How you been?
I'm feeling great. You know what I'm saying? Got a whole lot on my mind. Just you gotta wait and see.
Yeah, Matt, how you doing, baby?
I'm good.
Good,
I'm chilling. Nothing much right now. So
good. Yeah, I'm doing good too. Thanks for asking, y'all. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
yeah. No problem.
No, but yeah, I'm doing good. Classes are ending. Probably have some alone time, so that's gonna be a plus. But yeah, man, we're gonna move right into things pretty easy today. Starting with some trending topics, man. We got a bunch for today, so let's just get right into them. CMC, Carolina Panthers starting running back Chris McCaffrey is out for the end of
AKA
this.
Mr. Glass.
Mr. Glass, the real Mr. Glass at this point now, is now out for the rest of the season after being placed on IR because of his ankle injury. Is this it for Mr. McCaffrey? How long does he have?
Well, it sounds like from what they've said, they're trying. Well, honestly, you can't really believe what the Carolina says because
Yeah,
they'll say one thing and they do the complete opposite. But they
for sure.
said that his injury has nothing to do with him being his status on the team and stuff. But if I was them, the smart thing to do is trade him for a whole bunch of draft picks. And because what's the point of paying this man to be the highest paid running back if you can't even get him on the field?
But here's the
Like,
problem. Here's the problem. When I look
what's
at
the
that
point?
though. Whenever you say trade McCaffrey, I mean he's been your team for the past 3-4 seasons. He's been everything. I get that he hasn't played much, but at the same time, there's not really much that y'all got.
I mean, if you look at the Panthers' offense, it makes it seem like the Panthers don't have a lot of weapons and stuff. But if you look at their receiving core, if they play to the level they're supposed to play at, including without all the drops and stuff they've had this year, they have a top receiving core in the NFL. Like DJ Moore is crazy, so underrated. Like it's unbelievable. And Robbie Anderson, he hasn't had a good season this year, but like last year, he showed us he could be a solid number two receiver with DJ Moore. And the problem with McCaffrey, not really a problem. It's just whenever McCaffrey plays, we always give him the ball every play and stuff, and then we don't really feed into our receiving group. But I feel like if we get Chuba Hubbard, he's a really good upcoming rookie, and I feel like if they can, learn how to get they can. First of all, we need a quarterback, and they can get someone that can distribute the ball to all these talented receivers and tight ends and stuff. Yeah, it's a huge loss. You're missing McCaffrey, but if you were able to spread the ball, it's gonna number one instead of feeding one person the ball every single play, it won't be as likely to get you won't get many injuries if that makes sense because or for instance, let's say one of the receivers get hurt. It's gonna be like, okay, that's a big loss or whatever. But we have this guy and this guy. With McCaffrey hurt, it's just the whole offense is done. And I just feel like the best thing for them is to just trade McCaffrey.
Matt, our other fellow Panthers fan, how do you feel about it?
Um, I don't know. It just sucks to see because it's like availability is the number one thing in the NFL now. So it's like you could be an incredible athlete, but if you're hurt all the time, what is the point, you know? So it's like maybe they do trade him, maybe they just rebuild again. Like I don't know what the hell they're doing because they're just such a mid team. Like
Right.
like there's so many problems with the team and I just don't know like what they can do right now. And like I'm getting a little worried because they don't have a lot of draft picks this year.
Yeah.
They don't have a third, they don't have a second. I think they have like a first, a fourth, fifth, sixth or something. Like so it's like I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. if they trade McCaffrey, maybe they'll get a haul for him. Maybe they get Deshaun Watson out of him. Or they just get a bunch of draft picks, like Freddie said, and they just rebuild. I don't know.
You got a
It
lot of
does
money
suck that
this
he's
season,
hurt, though. What's up?
You got a lot of money this offseason, though, don't you?
Oh, a lot. They have like top 5 most this year.
Yeah, they have a lot in the salary cap.
But it's like if they suck, why the hell would teams want to, or why would players want to come play for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
you have a point.
I don't know.
For me, I think I know he's hurt all the time, but that's like y'all moving on from a lot of like your whole team. Believe me, I do agree that y'all have a really good if they caught the ball and played well and had a good quarterback, they'd have a really good one of the best receiving corps in the league. But right now CMC's your whole team. I mean, trading him, that's not a bad idea, but it'll be a matter of what they
get for him.
Yeah, what do you want? I think at least 2 first-round picks, right? Or first.
You got to get that, or at least a elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Somehow, maybe maybe a Russell Wilson, or like a Watson. That's a reach. Don't get me wrong, but
the way he played
could happen.
I think from last night, Russ, he should have just stayed out for the rest of the season and got healthy.
That hand you could visibly see it. Yeah,
we'll talk about
that a little bit later. But yeah, okay, moving on to the next topic. Mike McCarthy, head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, out this Thursday against the Saints due to COVID. Is his not disappearance, him not being there is going to be a dramatic, dramatic thing for them?
Yes and no. Obviously, it's your head coach. It's going to be some problems, but I want to say the stand-in head coach is Dan Quinn.
Yeah, it is. It 100% is.
I feel like, it's a loss, but at the same time, they're not going to be, in a hole. They still
Dan
have
Quinn has been playing really well this season as well.
Right. So they have a coordinator that's going to stand in as the interim head coach that has coaching experience. He's led his team to a Super Bowl. So not that big of a loss, but we'll just have to see.
I agree with that. Moving on, unless Matt has something to say about it.
No, that's basically it.
Dalvin Cook out for at least 2 weeks with a torn labrum. He can't catch a break either, man. He's been out half the season already.
Something like that.
This is kind of off topic, but I think the top 5 most paid running backs are all hurt.
Yeah, because who you got? McCaffrey,
Dalvin Cook, Kamara, Zeke,
Henry.
Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm.
Please don't get me started on Zeke.
All right, man, you and Zeke. Leave Zeke alone.
Anyways,
Saints. Next trending topic: Saints are likely to start Taysom Hill this week after finally being back from the concussion protocol after having a really rough one. I would say about a month and a half ago. Do we think he's going to make a big difference in that Cowboys game?
I think he's going to be worse.
Really?
I
don't think so. I don't think Taysom Hill is a good quarterback at all.
I don't think he'll be worse.
I don't think he'll be worse. I just don't think it'll be like
he won't be Drew Brees.
That's different. Yeah. The only difference is he's mobile.
And he's known the offense for the past 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, so that'll definitely help.
I think that'll be an increase for him.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just it's not going to.
Are there a bunch of starters out for the Saints still for their offense?
Saints have everybody out. That's
Okay.
Y'all talk and I'll look up our injury report. It's bad. It's.
I think I saw it at one time. And
it was 15 starters were out last week. Something insane.
So, wow. Yeah. Saints right now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 starters. Oh, 11, 12. Well, yeah, 10 starters out right now for this week. Kamara, Mark Ingram, Ryan Ruschek's out. We have two two O linemen out. We have two defensive linemen out. A linebacker. Taysom's currently questionable right now, actually, with a foot injury. A corner and another linebacker out. So it's not looking too fun right now for the Saints.
So those two O-linemen could be a huge factor in that offense.
I mean, they're arguably some of the best O-linemen in the league.
Oh, yeah. They have – the Saints probably have like a top 5 O-line when they're all healthy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But, yeah, they're both out with knee injuries.
Yikes.
But with, Taysom Hill in, no receivers, possibly no Kamara.
Yeah.
I
no,
really
Kamara's out.
He's out?
Yeah.
I don't really see a difference then.
Yeah,
I think so anyway. I mean, it's rough out here right now being a Saints fan. I just don't like being a Saints fan right now,
Same with the Panthers.
Sucks to suck. But moving on. Tre'Davious White out for the season after tearing his ACL last week. That's a big loss for the Bills.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can have a speedy recovery there. Yeah.
It's a huge loss for that defense.
Some football news that we really don't cover college football much. But Lincoln Riley moves from head coach of Oklahoma, has moved to USC after signing a $110 million contract. 10-year, $110 million contract. His incentives are insane. So USC literally bought both of his homes in Oklahoma, bought them both for him, and a $1 million bonus. They bought a $6 million house for him down in LA, and they gave him a private jet.
They wanted him bad, and I don't blame them.
Bro, I didn't know this.
They gave that man they gave him a blank check and told him, "What you want, bro?" And he cashed out.
I don't blame him. Lincoln Riley as their head coach, that is huge.
You're coming from Oklahoma to California for one. You get as much money as you want for two. You have a really good program in USC that just needs a good head coach for three. And Lincoln Riley arguably is a really good head coach.
Yeah, and then on top of that, think about it. He's at USC. You can almost get any recruit to come out to play in LA.
I mean, and it's funny is because you saw a lot of the recruits that committed to Oklahoma because of Lincoln Riley start backing out. Excuse me, when they found out.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them because it's like you don't really know what's gonna happen next for Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly. And so you see the effect that he had on the school. He's gone. Yeah. Now I think will he transform USC around? I think he will. I mean, you don't have to play Alabama or Georgia or anybody in the SEC when Oklahoma does finally move into the SEC and I think next year or something like that. But I mean that's a plus for them, man. It's a plus for USC.
That's a huge plus for him.
Yeah. But yeah, moving on real quick. Deebo Samuel is out for at least 2 weeks. I didn't get the injury down, but he's out for 2 weeks, at least anyway, with an injury. That's big for them. Groin?
Yeah.
I mean, that sucks for them. He's been playing running back for them, and he's been playing that position really well.
He can do it all. He's an offensive player. That's literally all you can label him as.
And it just opens up an offense completely. I mean, he's been lining up. He's a receiver, by the way, if you don't know. He's a receiver lining up as a running back, and he's playing the role really well.
And it's going to be hard for them to replace that type of production with somebody else.
Yeah, completely agree. But one of our last trending topics for today. The Steelers placed T.J. Watt on IR this week. That's a big loss for them.
IR or COVID?
IR. I think it's IR.
Are you serious?
I think so. I think he's out for the season. I think he had surgery or something. Let me see.
I thought it was COVID.
Oh, COVID, yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter because Pittsburgh is awful. And I'll hint on it.
I mean, it'll make them way worse. But
Yeah.
that's
But they're just
that team does not look good right now.
yeah, not good at all.
I mean, we'll talk about this when we get there, but I would love to see like what happened to the downfall of the Steelers. But yeah, man. One of the last things we're gonna talk about is MVP candidate right now. Who is your MVP right now?
Josh Allen.
Josh, it's between Josh. It's
Josh
so
or
tough.
Dak.
It's so
What?
tough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor or Rodgers.
You can't do
It's-
not Rodgers.
it's so tough.
I mean, not Rodgers. Why not
It's
Rodgers?
just the whole COVID thing, and like, yes, he's
I
been playing
guess.
really, really well. Unless he has like an incredible second half of the season.
I mean, he hasn't been.
It's really hard for players to win MVP if they've missed games.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
good point. I forgot he missed those 2 weeks. Well, a week actually with COVID.
Yeah.
So we're saying. Who'd you say?
I said Josh Allen or Dak Prescott right now.
Yeah, I don't think Josh Allen has it, man. There's been 4 wins. 4 losses where he's looked bad in all 4 losses. But I mean, Dak could be a shout, but Jonathan Taylor just has been almost perfect the entire season.
Except yesterday. He didn't do
Yeah,
that well. But still. Yeah, he's been insane. But that's like a reach because it's so hard for non-quarterbacks to win it.
I mean, if he gets over 2,000 yards, then I think he easily gets it, right?
The Colts have to make the playoffs too.
Yeah.
Do we not think they will?
I mean,
They can,
so
but like,
hard.
there's so many even teams right now that
Yeah.
you don't know who can.
Right now they're 6-6, so it's gonna be man. The second half of the season is gonna be so interesting to see who makes it and who doesn't. They should have put away the Bucs yesterday, though, man. That was just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I know we didn't really talk about MVPs for very long, but we're gonna start transitioning, jumping into the games of the week. First game we're gonna start with is the Bears and the Lions on Thanksgiving. Man,
This game sucked.
talking about some trash. I mean, Jared Goff didn't play terrible.
Who wants to watch the
But who
Bears against the Lions?
And the Lions.
Like, I watched a little bit of it. I was just like, yeah.
Didn't watch a minute.
Who
Not
cares?
1 minute of it.
At this
I
point,
mean, like, their offense just looks so like the Detroit
Oh yeah.
just so unfunctional. I mean, I think one drive they literally got like 5 false starts in a row, and it was like a 1st and 30, and I was like, dude, like, what is this?
I mean, it's just terrible. I mean, talking about the Bears, right?
yeah.
I'm talking about Detroit.
Oh,
Detroit.
I mean, listen, Detroit. I don't know what their problem. Well, it's Detroit. That's their problem. Like there's nothing like they can do to change like their narrative. Like I don't understand what's going on with Detroit, man. I generally just don't. I mean, you have. I wouldn't say you don't have great receivers, but you have someone with hands at least, and you can't beat.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat the Bears, and they were up too. They were up for a majority of this game. Well, they went up, and I mean, it was just a terrible game. Let's just be real.
Yeah. I mean, the Bears, it seemed like all their games they were up. They just somehow managed to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the Bears season is over. Fields didn't play either, right? He's hurt.
Yeah, Dalton played, and he actually did all right.
Yeah, he did.
He did pretty good actually, besides one pick. Yeah.
And he got sacked too, a couple of times. But listen, this Bears team, like, I think they have to fire Matt Nagy, right? They have to.
They should have done it. They should have done
week.
it Thursday, but they won. So
Yeah.
Maybe if they lose out, they'll fire him. That's the thing, because I don't know what they're gonna do with him.
I mean, you never know because, like, teams like to hold on to the head coaches a little bit too long, or teams like to be really fire happy and get them going faster. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the Lions head coach, he stays. I think the Bears head coach.
Oh, he has to. You can't. It's hard to fire someone after one season.
Yeah, I mean, especially when it's the Lions.
Right. So, like,
Yeah.
I think
I
we
mean-
have to give him another year and whatnot and just
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I mean, there's not really much to talk about for this game. I mean, it's just two terrible teams that we have to watch.
Trying to figure out who was worse.
Yeah, exactly. It's a coin flip on depending on the day. Like literally, the Lions came in at like favorites to win. That's very disrespectful. I would be very upset if I was a favorite to lose against the Lions. What? But
I mean, that's the head coach. He sucks.
yeah, he is pretty bad. But yeah, we're gonna move on and stop talking about garbage for too long and talk about Raiders and the Cowboys. See this game.
Raiders and the Cowboys.
This game
wow.
was very, very interesting. I say it every week, and y'all gotta hate me for it. Where's Zeke?
Oh my!
Zeke ran the ball 9 times, yo.
Here
9
we
times.
go.
I mean, it's a question. It's a question. I'm not gonna say anything other than that. Where was Zeke this past week?
But it was. You can't really.
They were
fault
down
them.
half the game.
Like 9 carries. Like how? What is he like? What is he supposed to do with 9 carries? And you're Zeke. He needs at least 15 to 20 touches.
I don't think
Yeah.
he can produce anymore with 15 to 20 touches.
But either way, they were like Matt just said, they were down majority of the game. It was like a shootout. Like,
Yeah,
why
well,
would you run the ball if you're down?
it's crazy
Yeah.
because like Dak had 375, 2 tubs, he had two starting receivers with over 100 yards. Carr 373, 1 tub, over 2 receivers over 100 yards as well. Hunter Renfrow with 134. Like, I mean, these teams really came to have a shootout on Thanksgiving, and it was a good game. I mean,
Yeah.
Does this put a question mark on Dallas in the playoffs?
It
It
just
concerns
not.
me when they play good teams.
Yeah, I mean, but even the Raiders, but they haven't even been a good team. I mean, they're gonna what?
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. They had injuries. Like CD was knocked out in first half.
Yeah,
Mark Cooper was out. Like,
I mean,
to
but
me, that's huge.
I mean, Raiders lost Darren Waller in the first half as well. He's their number one producer.
But
That's true.
that is true.
So I think
But-
the excuse that they lost people. I mean, listen,
We surround our entire offense around Darren Waller, and he goes down in the first quarter. What are we gonna do? We're stuck now at this point. Now we have to we have to game plan around someone else, and that's what they did. And I think Dallas needs to learn how to do that because they did it, and that's why they lost.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
That's
I'm gonna make a bold prediction on the Raiders.
Oh no!
They're gonna
Uh-oh.
make the 7th seed in the playoffs.
Hold on, let me look at that.
They will be 10-7.
10-7. They'll hold on. Who do they play?
What's their schedule? That's the big question
So
mark.
they play. Let me look again. Hold on. Oh shoot. So I think next week they play the Chargers.
The Chargers have been inconsistent all year.
Oh, sorry. So they play Washington. I think they'll beat Washington.
Nope. I'll
The
put
Lucid
some money
I
on
don't
Chiefs.
that.
know.
No.
Washington looks pretty hot
Hey,
right now.
hold on. I got a bold prediction about Washington, man.
They'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, they'll hold that 7th spot. That team is team is firing right now. They are firing everywhere. They're doing really well.
They are.
So here's what I think's gonna happen with the Raiders. So they'll be 10-7. That's what I'm gonna predict. So they'll beat Washington. They'll lose to the Chiefs. They'll beat Cleveland. So wait, how many wins are we at then? 7.
I think that's 2-1. So
So 2-1. They'll
Eight
beat
and
Denver.
6, 9-6. Uh-oh.
And then lose to the Colts, beat the Chargers.
So 10-7, like yeah. Huh. So they'll beat the Chargers twice?
I think so.
Huh.
Or sorry, they play them once.
Okay. I don't know, man. I listen, I think Coach might sneak up and take that 7 spot. I think if I'm the Bills, Chiefs, or Bengals, I'm afraid because all these teams are 1-1. I mean, like one wins behind. Like they're behind 1 win. And so, I mean, every game's gonna matter coming to the end right now. I think the Chargers could slip off, and I think that Coach could probably take that 7 spot instead of Denver and the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders make the playoffs, and if they do, I don't think they make any noise in the playoffs.
No,
you just had a shootout against a genuinely like a terrible. I hate to say it, but
they're not terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible.
Yes, you lose both your starters, which is brutal.
Yes.
They probably would have won if they had CD and Cooper, but still, like, it's like the next man up. Like, you can't keep using that excuse every time.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was a shootout. It was a good win for the Raiders.
And the penalties, man, against these teams were ridiculous.
Yeah, that was not a good.
Weren't there like four? There were 4 like pass interference calls.
Well, it was like the most penalty yards in a game ever, I think.
Like 160 or something like that, right? It was
really ridiculous.
So. That these teams did. Like, I don't know. Listen, I do think Dallas, I think they should have a question mark beside the name. I don't think they should be, favorites to win anything in the playoffs as of now.
Okay.
Personally.
Do you think Washington can take over?
No.
That division?
Okay.
No.
Yeah, potentially.
Hold on.
No. I don't think Washington's beating Dallas. Like, Washington's been hot. I just don't think they match up well with each other.
I mean, they're 2 games behind, and Washington has to play the Raiders, Dallas, Eagles. They have to play Dallas twice, Eagles twice, and Giants. I think
So at least 4 or 5 of those are winnable.
I think they'll split Dallas. They'll beat the Giants. They can beat Eagles twice. And I think they'll beat the Raiders. So I think they'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-1 on the way out. That might be a stretch, but they'll go 5-1 on the way out. And 5-1 right now puts them at 10-7 in the playoffs.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but will 10-7 get you there? I don't know, maybe, but we'll have to see. But yeah, 5-1 for me for the football team. But Dallas has the Saints. Dallas has football team twice. Dallas has the Saints, the football team twice, Giants, Cardinals, Eagles. Eagles love, and they have the Eagles on the
literally the only team I see them losing to is the Cardinals.
Yes. And I don't see them losing to Arizona because Arizona has a piss poor run defense.
Yeah.
And I think Dallas is just going to run it all over them. So I think Arizona doesn't match up well with them.
Listen, Eagles, the whole Eagles and Cowboys thing is a big thing. Like, they play the Eagles on the last game of the season, and the last game of the season, the Eagles would love to spoil a trip to the playoffs for Dallas. Do I think it'll spoil trips to the playoffs with Dallas? No, but I think it will. I think that game isn't going to be as easy as Dallas Cowboy fans think. Man, I could bet right now that this Eagles Cowboys game on the last game of the season for them is going to be a close one.
I mean, it could, but I just don't see that happening. If you're losing to the Giants, I just don't see you beating Dallas. Like, yeah, Dallas for like a couple of games they haven't looked too sharp against good teams, but like we're not going to forget the fact that they were a field goal away from beating Tampa.
Yeah.
I can't think of the other team they beat too, but they've played some good teams and their offense looked nearly perfect.
They lost to the Chiefs. They blew out Falcons. They barely beat the Vikings. Dak wasn't there, so I'll give them credit for that. They lost
and the Vikings are a good football team.
They lost to the Broncos.
they barely beat the Patriots in overtime when the Patriots wasn't as good as they were yet. Like they weren't now. They blew out the Eagles, of course, lost to the Bucs by 2 points, you know that, and barely beat the Chargers as well. I think they
Those
are
are
not as good as you think they are, Freddie. Honestly,
I and don't and I'm just gonna let all the viewers know I am not a Dallas Cowboys fan.
sound like
But
it.
I think this Dallas team is different from these past Dallas teams when people were saying, "Oh, they're a Super Bowl favorite or whatever." I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl favorite, but I don't think it's just going to be an easy cakewalk for whoever plays Dallas in the playoffs.
I mean,
And
right now, Dallas will have to play the Rams.
and look how the Rams have been looking.
They don't look that good right now.
They don't look good at all, actually. I think they have lost their identity as a team. Like 3 weeks ago. It's just been going downhill.
So really, but honestly, we could both be wrong. Both of these teams could just be in a little drought. Like, remember when Tampa was on that 2-game losing streak? Everyone was like, "What's going on with Tampa?" And now look at Tampa's looking like Tampa from last year. I just think now, especially this year with football, there's teams that go through like periods of games where it's just like, what's going on with them, and then they just go on a massive run. Like,
Yeah.
So I just think there's no reason to panic for Dallas, no reason to panic on the Rams and stuff. It's just they'll figure it out. But I definitely think this is Dallas' division. I think if you look at the Dallas roster compared to the Eagles roster, Dallas' roster is better. Their coaching is better. Like, everything about them is better than the Eagles. Don't even get me started on the Giants. Maybe the possible team that's semi-close to Dallas, I guess, is the Redskins. But the Redskins, they can't match up with them.
Football team, mate. Go on, then.
Football team, Redskins, whatever. Like, they don't – whatever it is, they don't match well with Dallas. And so I think Dallas is beating all the teams in their division.
I think that's unfair to the football team, genuinely. But you know what's funny?
They're a good team.
I mean, it's funny that we have no one has talked about. We haven't really talked about. 49ers are sitting at number 6 right now in the NFC.
49ers are hot. Oh my God!
I mean, ever since George Kittle came back, they've been burning.
You said who came back?
George Kittle.
Oh yeah, they've been hot. That offense is nobody's gonna want like that offense. Nobody wants to see them right now.
Ain't no way.
The defense is playing pretty good.
Man,
that's a team I wouldn't want to see.
I mean, right now they would have to play the Bucks. Ooh.
But that'll be if they're in the playoffs. That will be a great game.
If they're healthy, yes. If they're healthy, yes, it would be a great game.
That'll be a great game, but it wouldn't surprise me if the 49ers upset them.
Oh, yeah, no, not at all.
So that's the thing. Like, for every team in the NFC, they need to realize the 49ers, that's a scary – you don't want to play the Niners.
I think you don't want to – I think right now you don't want to play the football team or the Niners because they're both hot right now.
They're both – yeah, exactly. You put the football team in that conversation because I didn't realize this until when I was watching the game. He beat Brady, Cam, and Russ in back-to-back-to-back. They beat those 3 QBs in back-to-back-to-back weeks.
I'm not saying Cam's good, but what?
But that's, to me – what'd you say?
I didn't say nothing.
I don't know. I thought you said something smart.
All right, what's the next game?
Yeah, we're going to move on to the next game. Next game, Saints-Bills.
Go ahead. What's wrong? What's wrong?
I've been saying the same thing that's been wrong with these Saints for the past 6 weeks. We just have nothing. Injuries are killing us. The quarterbacks are killing us. Our defense can't hold a grain of salt because we just got blown out 31-6 at home. And we didn't score any points until the fourth quarter. That's what's killing us. We scored 0 in the first, second, and third quarter. You can't win games scoring no points. I generally just don't know. I don't know. I'm more upset at the fact that our offense is so bad, and that we put 0 points up in 3 quarters.
But you can't be so hard on this. They played a really good defense. Yes, that is bad. Not scoring points in the fourth quarter. That is bad. But, I mean, it's not really surprising me that they lost like that because, like I've said, you remember what I've said from the jump. They have no receivers.
Nope.
They don't – right now, they don't have a quarterback.
Nope.
And the offensive line play is shaky. No running backs right now. They're on the third and fourth string running back.
Two starting offensive linemen are out.
So you can't really expect that offense to come in, even at home, play a top defense, and put up 20 points. You can't expect that from them.
At least 10, Freddie. At least 10, man.
But that doesn't surprise me.
Nah,
Buffalo Bills.
I mean, you're right. I mean, the Bills, they're playing really good football. This over the entire of the season, they're playing good football.
Yes.
I don't know if I would say yes, they are still my Super Bowl favorite, but Josh Allen really needs to cut back on the picks, man. He's thrown one for like the past 3 games at least. He had 2 this game. 23 for 28, 260, 4 tubs. Like he needs. I mean, the 2 picks, yes, like he threw 2, but he threw 4 touchdowns, and he had a relatively decent game. But the 2 picks really got to cut down. I think he actually started off really shaky in the first half, and like them being like really shaky has now got New England back into the number 1 spot in that division. So, I personally just don't. I think the Saints season is over. Yes, but I think the Bills have a lot to still work for.
Yeah, they definitely do. But another thing to keep an eye on when you said at the beginning, with Tre'Davious White being out, that is huge especially for that defense.
Yeah,
that's
he's been one of the best corners in the league.
Right. So losing that I wouldn't be surprised if this week their defense struggles against New England. I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if New England beat them. But I also want to say I won't be surprised if we have a traditional Josh Allen game. Puts up 4 touchdowns, like 300 yards passing. I wouldn't be surprised about that. So you never know. It's just.
I mean, do the Bills have to play? They have to play them twice or just once? One more time.
Twice.
Twice. Yeah. I mean, listen. I think so. This first game this week is at it's in Buffalo. And then the next one's going to be in New England. I think they win. I think the Bills win this week, and then they get blown out in New England, or vice versa.
I feel like that game can go either way.
Oh yeah, for sure. But man, listen, I think that, like I said, the Saints have just been real with injuries, quarterback play, all of the above. Honestly, nothing's been really good to really harp on about, but the Bills are starting to flow like they need to as well. At least anyway. Anything else y'all want to say about them? I like to get off my team pretty fast.
I don't think so.
Yeah, they just suck.
Okay. Okay. I see the Panthers and the Dolphins are coming up here soon. I hold my tongue.
It's okay.
Next game we'll talk about Bucs and the Colts. This game honestly should have went to the Colts, in my opinion. They just took their foot off the gas, and they let Tampa Bay do something that they do every single game. Tampa Bay is a really good third quarter team. Well, probably in my opinion, the best in the league, man. Like they know how to come out of halftime, adjust, and just put points up on the board. They scored 14 points to the Colts' 0 in the third quarter, and that, in my opinion, like it showed that okay, this game's almost over because they were up 28-24 going into the fourth quarter, and Tom Brady was just playing good football then.
I said Tom Brady being Tom Brady.
Yeah, pretty much. And then Leonard Fournette, 17 carries, 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. This team, Gronk as well, 7 receptions, 123 yards. They were just playing really good football, and that's how you win a game. You score 0 points. The first quarter was pretty boring for both of these teams. Second quarter, they put up it was just a common day shootout that turned one-sided. Colts, honestly, just got unlucky, man. they just got unlucky. I think, but this will be a stepping stone for them. Coming, I mean, if they really want to make it to the playoffs, I think this loss will help them a lot with that.
Right.
I mean, the Colts need to not, because they've done this 3 times already, 2 times. Choke the lead. Like, they can't keep doing that if they want to be in the playoffs potentially. And it's like, yes, it's Brady, it's the Bucs, but it's like still, like, you can't be so passive when you have a big lead, even against like a really good team like the Bucs, because anything can happen. So, I mean, I think their schedule is pretty easy coming up, so I think they'll be fine. But if there's one more of those games when they just blow a lead, then it's over. There's like no point. So
I mean, if I'm the Colts, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose this single game. I mean, they got the Texans, the Patriots, Cardinals, Raiders, Jacksonville. I mean, Cardinals and Patriots are the only 2 games I think they should be afraid of. But still, you still have to wake up and play football against the Jaguars, Raiders, and Texans as well, because they've upset some teams this season. But I mean, listen, I think this game you have to really look at, Wentz. I think Wentz lost in this game. He threw 2 picks really late. I mean, if he cleans that up and he doesn't throw those picks late, I mean, we're probably having a different conversation here. But he's been playing well. I mean, this is one of the first games that he's really caused it on himself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really much. I mean, can Tampa Bay like go far? Can they win it all this season, or is this not their season?
I don't see why not. They have the same team as last year. Like, and it's funny because I was talking with somebody, and I didn't realize this until he told me this. It's just like with team like right now, I think the Super Bowl favorite for the NFC is going to be Tampa, but it all depends on catching a team at their worst time. It's all with timing.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Especially with upsets and stuff. Like, let's say a team catches Tampa in the playoffs when they have a few starters hurt or like they're just not playing well or something. You can easily upset them. So, yeah, the NFC favorite is going to be Tampa Bay, but I wouldn't be shocked if like one of the lower seeds upsets them in like the first round exit.
Do you think Tampa's better than Green Bay?
Yes.
I was going to say maybe Green Bay.
Why?
Right now.
I think I go Tampa because, number one, Tampa has a better offensive line. Packers are on their 3rd string left tackle, and that's not good, especially if you have Aaron Rodgers.
It's a Rams team, though.
The Rams have been terrible these past few weeks.
But it's
terrible.
The Rams.
It's still the Rams.
It is the Rams, but
probably the best roster in the league.
But I still go with Tampa because, number one, because they have better receivers, they have a better offensive line, they have better tight end. Their offense is better than the Packers' offense. Defense, okay, that could be kind of debatable, but slightly goes to Tampa. But because the Packers' defense has been playing really well these past weeks or this whole season. So, but I think Tampa takes the edge because if they play each other, I just think Tampa's going to beat them.
I think it'd be a complete I'd say 55-45 Packers, man. Like, I think it's that close between those 2 teams.
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, but listen, it'll be a very interesting thing to see, like what both of these 2 teams can do. I think the Colts need to really almost win out to make the playoffs. If not, then they'll be sitting at home this come January. And Tampa Bay, man, I hate to say it, but they're gonna win the division again.
Oh, most definitely.
They're gonna win it off from the beginning.
Yeah,
no
I mean, but it still doesn't make you feel good.
They're in a division full of scrubs.
We know this.
They won. They just came off. Saints suck. Panthers suck.
Yeah,
especially
terrible division.
especially the Panthers. They're the worst one in our division. But anyway, moving on to the
I don't know about that
the
one.
next game, the Jets versus the Texans. I mean, this is just talk about more
Let's go
trash,
Jets.
man.
Go
Yeah.
Jets, baby.
Who's going to be worse? That's basically what the game was for. Who's the worst team?
And I called
And
it
it was
wrong, man.
It's Houston.
I was
It
right.
Houston. I honestly, Houston just what? They just beat last week. They beat somebody.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee, and then they can't go back to back and beat somebody else. I mean, beat another bad team. I mean, a bad team. That's crazy. Yeah, it sucks.
You got to give credit. I'm starting to give credit to the Jets. The Jets are stringing
For what?
Freddie, there's no credit to give. They're awful.
For what, Freddie?
Are y'all forgetting they beat the Titans? They beat the Bengals, and they
beat the Texans. That's
Titans are
it.
bad. But who would have thought they weren't the worst team in the league?
By one
I
win.
never thought they were the worst team in the league.
I thought they were the worst team in the league, and
I thought Houston was the worst.
Yeah, Houston's pretty bad, Freddie.
I thought the Jets were going to be worse because their team isn't really much different from last year except the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Wilson.
That's really it. Right. So I just thought they were going to be the worst team in the league, but they beat two really good football teams, and then they beat Houston, which isn't really that impressive. But I think it's just only up with them.
The Jets?
Yeah, they have a lot.
I mean, when you're on the ground, yeah, duh.
Well, I'll put it this way: are they better than last year's Jets?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right then.
They'll be better next year, but it won't be drastic.
It will be drastic. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I'm not saying like.
You still gotta remember what division they're in, man. I mean, they have New England, Bills, and who's the other one?
Miami.
Yeah,
but they'll probably have a 7 win season. I think because like I said earlier, all you gotta do is catch a team on a bad day,
which they did with the Titans and the Bengals.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you win games, man. That's how you win games. But so we're saying the Texans are the worst team in the league right now.
Well, it's Detroit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Most
Detroit's
definite.
the worst, but before the season started, I thought it was going to be Houston.
Yeah. So you got Detroit, you got Jacksonville, and you got
Houston, Seahawks.
Which I said at the beginning of the season.
So the Jets have 2 top 5 picks right now.
Oh man.
4th and 5th, I think.
I mean, what do they get? Off at lineman?
O-lineman, and then they have to, right? O-lineman, and then maybe a defender.
A corner, maybe.
Corner.
I don't. They could.
What'd you say?
Either him or the guy from Cincinnati. That guy is a dog.
And then you draft the Alabama tackle.
Or one of them Georgia tackles, man. Those dudes are massive.
Or exactly.
Polished.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It's too early.
Yeah.
We don't really.
Yeah. But we're not gonna sit here and talk about them for very long, man. Like realistically, they're ready for the draft. And we're not. Next game, Eagles and Giants. Eagles, man. Like Jalen Hurts had 3 picks against this terrible Giants team.
Well, I hate to say it, but I've been saying it from the jump.
You did.
Jalen Hurts is not that guy.
I mean, does this game?
This is his like. Is this his?
Probably second or third.
Well, obviously, this is his worst game this year.
Yes.
Yeah, but
he's been consistently good.
Yeah,
I know that
for like 4 weeks. But at the beginning of the season, he wasn't doing good at all.
Oh yeah.
So
and
I'm just not a fan of Jalen Hurts.
Now, if they did win this,
I mean, they were driving down the field and Jalen Rager dropped the ball
twice, 2 touchdowns. So that's whose fault is that?
He's a bust.
But he did throw 3 picks though. Yeah, so you get.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's just they and the Eagles. The past a big problem for the Eagles. They just did not draft well at all these past years,
I
except
agree.
like
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. That's like their promising young stud of a receiver. But when you draft a guy that I read something where if you multiplied Jalen Rager's touchdowns and receiving yards by 4, he still has less touchdowns and yards than Justin Jefferson.
Oh my
And they
goodness.
picked Rager before Jefferson. Like
I mean, where was Rager coming out of?
TCU.
Oh my goodness.
They also didn't draft Metcalf either.
Yeah, they've drafted this other bum as a receiver right before DK Metcalf went off the board. So they've missed quite a few picks. And then there's another thing I saw as well, where years ago in the class with Devontae Adams, like they picked Jordan Matthews over Devontae Adams, and he was like a few picks behind him. So they keep continuously missing on these players and just drafting terribly.
Yeah. Listen, I think these two are the worst 2 teams in the division.
Oh, most definitely.
I think I asked this last week, but I asked again. Who's going to be better first out of these 2 teams? Giants or the Eagles?
Eagles.
Giants.
I'm going to say Giants. Because I don't have faith in Jalen Hurts.
Like,
Personally.
and with the Giants, they actually have
A really good
They
weapons.
have a lot of and they have a lot of talent on offense.
Yeah, they do.
And honestly, if they can get a nice offensive coordinator this offseason, and he can like revamp that, they'll go from good. They'll go from bad to good.
What if Daniel Jones gets cut next year?
No, that's
Who's gonna be there? Who's gonna be their quarterback? I mean, I think
You don't think so?
I think the only way you cut Daniel Jones is if you know for a fact you have someone better coming in, and they don't know for a fact that they have someone better coming in.
Right, because this quarterback class is very weak.
Yes, and I mean they should have never picked up Daniel Jones, to be real.
I mean, it wasn't a terrible pick.
Daniel came from Duke.
But Daniel Jones isn't terrible.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying, but there were other quarterbacks in that class that they could have picked up.
Like who? Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, good point. What year? Okay, Daniel. Let's look at Mr. Jones.
The 2017,
Dwayne
2018.
Haskins draft, and there was a whole bunch of debate because they picked Daniel Jones over Dwayne Haskins.
I mean, going off that, they should be pretty proud of themselves, to be real.
Huh?
No, was it 2017? No, I think it was 2018.
I can't remember who was the first pick.
He was second, wasn't he?
No. Daniel Jones was 6. Well, Haskins was like 14, maybe, or something. But I can't remember who the number 1 pick was.
Bro, I can't find the draft. There's no way.
Was it? Who was number 1 pick that year?
2019. Number 1 pick, Kyler Murray.
Oh,
So it was Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, Quentin Williams.
Quentin Williams.
Yeah, a defensive end from Clemson for the Raiders. Devin White,
That was
LSU.
fun.
I remember when they picked up Devin White, I could have cried, man, because I knew he was going to be insane.
Oh, yeah. He was gonna
And
be good.
then so the Giants picked up Daniel Jones, and then Jacksonville picked up Josh Allen. Who was it? Let me see the other quarterbacks in this class. Dwayne Haskins.
Murray Minshew was like in the 6th round.
Yeah. I mean, so not
that
really.
it?
No, Drew Lock as well.
But
That's
you take
it.
a Drew Lock at the 6th.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. So
Yeah.
I mean,
They did a good job. He was the second best QB. He's the second best QB in that draft.
that's
But
going
it
off a
just
whole lot of
drops
nothing.
so hard. It's just funny.
This man just said he's the second best because there's not much else in there.
It's just funny because the drop off. You have like Murray, who's like an MVP candidate, and then Daniel Jones is the second best. It's just funny how big the drop off was.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I think that's what you're gonna see a lot this year too. I mean, you're gonna see a really big drop off from quarterbacks. I mean, honestly, don't know who's gonna. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna come out and be great, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chase McSorley came out that same year.
Oh God,
What a goat.
don't do that.
I knew Freddie was gonna say it.
What
I
a
knew it.
goat.
I think that was it. Like you mentioned, garbage, but yeah, I mean, not much coming out of that draft. I mean, the idea is you're gonna cut. excuse me, Daniel Jones. That's not gonna happen at all.
Yeah, no, he's not getting cut because to me, he is one of the problems. But the bigger problem was coaching and the offensive line play.
Well, I don't sit here and say that he was a big problem. I think, listen, they have changed offensive coordinators and like head coaches three times now, 2 or 3 times.
Something like
at least 2 times. Let's just say that. I mean,
I thought Joe Judge was his coach when he drafted him.
Yeah,
but he's been the coach this whole time.
Oh, is it? Regardless,
or was it somebody else?
Well, regardless, like I feel like he just hasn't had time to really, find a good coach that's gonna know how to do their job, and because they just fired Jason Garrett. They just fired him.
Good.
And so now
I was gonna say Daniel Jones might be worse because it's so hard to learn a whole new offensive coordinator, cadences and stuff.
I mean, he could be worse, or he might be 10 times better.
Yeah.
I still am a believer for Daniel Jones because he has the receivers, he has the running back. Evan Ingram isn't a terrible tight end. He's crazy athletic.
Yeah.
They just need an offensive line. If you fix the offensive line and he's still bad, then that's what I would give it up. I'm like, okay, he's trash.
Yeah.
But if you
Saquon's going to come back better next year too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Kenny Galladay, John Ross, Darius Slayton, and what's that kid?
Shepard.
Yes, Shepard and
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, exactly. He has potential to be really good in this league. But I think if this offseason, if they don't figure out a way to make this team better, Daniel Jones is probably going to be gone. But at the same time, it's like when you say that, do you have someone to replace that position that's going to be better than he is? I mean, and that, I think for me, when it comes to firing anybody, do you have someone to replace that position? If not, then I think you shouldn't fire him.
That's true.
But yeah, gonna move on out of there and gonna jump to the Panthers versus the Dolphins. So you had a whole lot to say about my Saints. Go ahead, Freddie.
So I got the floor.
You got the floor. I'm gonna sit back and be quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I cut that garbage off in the middle of the third quarter because I've said this for a few weeks now since the Washington game. The Panthers can never have a complete game. It's either the offense looks good and then the defense doesn't do good, or the defense does good and the offense looks terrible. And this week was a prime example of the offense doing terrible. And the defense, they didn't look too great, but at the end of the day, the offense wasn't doing anything to help them. So that was just a terrible, terrible game. Cam, like I said weeks ago, I said we shouldn't be starting Cam until maybe probably let him sit last game and maybe sit this game and then maybe let him come back after the bye. And this game was a prime example why we should have waited. My man only completed 5 for 21 for one rushing touch, and it had one rushing touchdown for 90-70 yards. 5 for 27. That's not good. That's not going to win you football games. That's going to make you lose by double digits. How we witnessed. You let a Dolphins team. Was it 27-10?
33-10.
33. The Dolphins team that has struggled on offense all year, and their defense has been struggling all year. Y'all let them put up 33 points, and y'all can only put up 10. Yeah, this year is this year is a wash. It was a waste of a signing to get Cam Newton because what's the point? Because the Panthers aren't going nowhere but watching the Super Bowl at home.
Wow. Okay, so going off everything you just said, from the beginning, I have said that you should not have started Cam Newton. He's going to go back to his.
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, I know he's going to go back to his old ways. He went 5 for 21, 92 yards, two picks. It almost like it kills me that they so instantly switched from Sam to Cam. I know Sam hasn't been the best, but the O-line hasn't been good either.
Not at all.
And so,
That's
you
worst
can't.
part.
You can't really perform when you have a bad O-line. Cam just doesn't get it done for me. But here's a question for y'all. Are the Panthers making the right choice having him start again this week?
They have to because they gave him all that money.
Yeah.
Or sorry, they have a. Yeah, you're talking about this game starting, obviously.
Oh,
It's a bye next week.
They have a bye week.
Well, I think he's going to start after the bye week as well.
So you have to start him
Mm-hmm.
because you gave him all this money. He's considered, a legend for the team.
Yeah.
He hasn't. I don't know. Personally, what Freddie was saying, I agree. I kind of hope they just tank and just try to get a top pick and hopefully draft a really good O-lineman because there's no point of this team making a push because it probably like last year they could have had a top 10 pick and then won that last stupid game and they ended up having the 15th or the 8th when they could have had a top 5 pick instead of a top 10, which is ridiculous to me. Now there's going to be a lot of people cleaning up shop this season. So I don't know who's out. I don't know. So maybe Dante's gone. Gilmore might leave. Cam's probably not going to – I don't see them bringing him back.
No.
But
do you see him going anywhere, though?
No.
No, I think he'll be done.
He's done. Unless he bounces back, but there's no point.
Yeah. We haven't really talked about Miami. This is 4 straight from Miami for one.
Yeah, they've looked good.
Tua looked almost perfect. He was 27 for 31, 230, one touchdown. Waddle looked really good. 9 receptions, 137, 1 tub. They had a really good game as well. I don't know why they're showing up to play football now, though. I think that whole season's over there. I don't think there's no way.
They could make a push. They don't have a hard schedule coming up either. But
I think they're playing to save Brian for his job.
Yeah, that's probably it.
These games, Flores would have been gone. So they're playing for his job right now.
Yeah. And they're playing good football too, man.
Yeah.
I just do think Carolina they have that stigma of being good for the first 3 weeks and then going downhill fast, and that's what happened again this season.
That always happens.
Oh, wait, one more question. Do you think Matt Rule will get fired next year?
I was just thinking of that.
Next year,
at the end of next.
If they have another bad year, yeah, he's gone.
What? Hold on, excuse me. What record consists of a bad year?
Not making the
under
playoffs.
500.
If they don't make the playoffs next year, he's gone.
So 7-10, he's gone.
7-10 or not making the playoffs, he's gone. Because the owner has made it known that he wants to win now. He doesn't want to wait. He wants to win right now. So he's not going to go through a whole nother medium. And I wouldn't be shocked if, let's say the Panthers, they start off maybe 2-6, and then they fire Matt Rule then.
I wouldn't doubt that either. I wouldn't doubt that either.
Because they are he's that owner. He's not waiting for
Tepper has a fast hand to fire somebody, man.
Yeah, he does. So I don't think
even though they owe all this money to Rule and Darnold and stuff, that's low key just chump change for Tepper. He's the richest owner in the league.
Yeah.
So it's He's like, here's your check, just leave. So it's like,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I still think their defense can be good because they have good pieces and they'll be better when time comes.
Their defense is really good.
Their offense is just useless.
Terrible.
If they get rid of McCaffrey, I don't know. Do they rebuild? Like I don't know what they're going to do because they're just such a mid team. Like I don't know.
Okay, so this offseason, your focus board and your thing in the middle of the board, quarterback, offensive line, and what
Offensive
else?
lineman.
And McCaffrey
Offensive
question mark.
lineman number. Okay, so it has to be
I think it goes
offensive line number 1, right?
Offensive line.
Okay.
Maybe then a quarterback, probably. And then maybe a safety. I don't even know. Like, there's nothing. Like, their defense is fine, but it's just the O-line is drastically horrible. So, like, if they drafted, like, a couple of linemen, I would not be mad.
Yeah. Listen,
And that's probably what they're going to do.
I personally, like, I'm not a Pens fan, obviously. Y'all all know that. I think you, like, listen. I mean, I was talking to Freddie about this last night, actually. You draft O-line first round, and then second or third, if he's still on the table, you take
They don't
Sam
have
Howell.
second or third picks.
They don't?
No, they gave them all away for Darnold and C.J. Henderson.
Oh, then
We just have our first round pick.
Oh, wow. I mean, because, like, Sam Howell's still going to be on the board, a North Carolina native. Might put him behind, a very mobile quarterback. Is a second coming of Cam pretty much, but can throw the ball, kind of.
Who?
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. My biggest comparison to Sam Howell is
Who?
Sam Howell to me is basically plays like Baker. Like
Mm.
either you're like, ooh, he's looking good, or you're like, ooh, what's going
he
on?
looking bad.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
they have the same body type. They have the same height and weight,
Yeah.
and they're like the same type of players.
So I'll tell you this. So the Panthers have a first-round pick, then a fourth-round pick is their next pick.
Goodness. I mean, do you see Tepper trading up for one? If he sees something he likes, I think they trade up for one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they've been aggressive. They were aggressive this offseason with
Yeah.
trading up and down. So maybe they do. And, like, maybe trading McCaffrey and getting a haul for picks isn't a bad idea either.
Man.
If you're trying to rebuild.
Me personally, I don't know, man.
They're not going to do it. I don't think they'll do it.
No, I don't think so either.
It's not a bad idea.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, man. This story of coming out of Carolina is just going to be one that we're just going to be talking about for time for the next 6-8 months until next season. But man, moving on to the next game, we have the Tennessee Titans and the New England Patriots. This one here was this was a doozy for me personally. Not a doozy. This was obvious for me. I don't think I would have ever said this, but I have been on the New England train for now 4 or 5 weeks. I have called this happening. I think this team right now is playing perfect football. Their defense is showing up. Their offense is playing well. Mac Jones is looking like a baller out here. 310, 2 touchdowns. Like, is the Patriots a team to be afraid of right now?
Yes.
Are they number 1 in the AFC?
No, they're number 2, but they're number 1 in the AFC in their division.
They're not number 1?
No, Baltimore still is. They're 3 and they're 8-3. So yeah.
Really?
After the bye weeks.
Baltimore's number 1.
Because they have a bye week. They have a bye week.
Okay.
Listen, I'm very intrigued to see what happens though. Believe me, okay. I think New England can beat right now the Chargers, Tennessee, Baltimore. I think they will struggle against – I don't think they will struggle, but I think Kansas City will give them a game, Buffalo will give them a game, and Cincinnati will give them a game.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I don't know. I think I can beat
I,
Cincinnati.
I was gonna say maybe the Chiefs and the Bills are the only team they should be worried about.
yeah, but I like Cincinnati, so that's the only reason that's the only reason I didn't
Okay.
include them in. I think Cincinnati's only problem is that they get a little inconsistent some games, and they go cold. Yeah, as long as their offense and defense can click and not go cold. Because look, I mean, this week we'll talk about it in a bit, but Cincinnati went off this week. Granted, it was against the Steelers, but they did go off. But yeah, listen, to me, I think New England right now, their defense and their offense, like they're just a perfect match for each other. They're a perfect New England team. And it's funny how like last season, everyone's like, man, Mac, or not last season, this season, like at the beginning, everyone coming in, Mac's gonna be the new Tom Brady, and he's gonna lead them to. Well, that's what they put, yeah, on his back. But look what he's done. They're now 8-4, and they're arguably number one in the AFC. Talking about Bill Belichick, man.
Great coach. Hell of a coach.
Yeah. What is y'all's opinion about this? I mean, here's a question. Is Tennessee done?
No.
Nah, I wouldn't say done. I think they have a pretty easy schedule coming up. And once the playoff run comes, they get Derrick Henry back, A.J. Brown back, and Julio Jones back. So I wouldn't count them out as done. Right now it's kind of tough for them because they have a lot of key players that are out right now. So I'm not shocked that they got beat the way that they got beat.
Yeah. I mean, they have Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, 49ers, Miami, Houston. So
I think they'll
at least
3
4
and
of those
2.
are wins.
At least 3.
3-2, and that's all they need to do. Go.
I think the Niners would be the toss-up. I think they can win out everything else, though.
I think the Niners would beat them.
I agree. But if Miami's secondary play like they did yesterday, then I would say you need to watch out for that.
I mean, all they need Ryan Tannehill to do
is not throw
is to play decent. Yeah, not throw pick. Play decent.
Because what he threw one yesterday, and he was 11 for 22 as well. Like he needs to play better than that.
Right.
Like there's no way. Man, that's crazy. I didn't know it was that bad.
Yeah. But
that backup running back that they have, Hillard, he played really well. 12 carries, 131 yards, 1 touchdown. Like that's not bad. I mean, imagine him having Derrick Henry back and they can 1-2 punch those two. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna find
exactly.
But I mean, it's hard. It's hard for Ryan Tannehill to do good because he's missing his 2 key receivers. Like, they need to rely on the run game,
just so he can spread it out and be better. Like they need they need that established play action. That's what you're telling me,
right?
But listen, I think New England has potential to go very far. I'm not going to say it, but I think they have potential to go very, very far in the playoffs. I think, to me, Tennessee just – I don't know how to say this without sounding too bad. I don't think Tennessee's that deep, personally. I think they are more of a 4 or a 5 seed for 1, not a number 3. Granted, they have a lot of injuries and stuff, but that comes with the game. But we just have to wait and see how Tennessee can bounce back against Houston next week. Houston.
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, but moving on to the next game, Steelers and the Bengals. This one here was a good one too. I think the Bengals figured out that they needed to wake up and play some football and win some games because they did, and they played really good football against the Steelers. Granted, this Steelers team isn't good. To me, Big Ben is just garbage. I mean, I don't understand. Why are they having him throw the ball 41 times?
I was gonna say that I'm still right about this. Big Ben is the worst veteran QB right now.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you said that for the past 3 weeks now.
I think he's gonna retire this year.
He better
draft someone.
No.
Either they draft someone or they wait, because no way Mason Rudolph or Haskins is going to do anything else different. So
I mean, sorry to say this, but if I'm the Steelers, Ben retires, you start Dwayne. Oh no, you start Dwayne Haskins
Rudolph.
or Rudolph next year. You draft someone early, next year. I mean the year after. Like I think you this is rebuilding. This isn't now at all, in my opinion. I don't think this is now at all. I think you are a season or two out from being good again. And so Ben needs to leave because he threw the ball for less than almost 50%, 2 picks, a touchdown, 263. Like that's not good for him. But
He
Joe
also
Burrow,
fumbled, I think.
oh, and a fumble. Yeah, and a fumble. Joe Burrow looked good. 20 for 24, 190, 1 tub, 1 pick. Mixon looked great. 28 carries, 165, 2 tubs. T. Higgins, 6 receptions, 114, 1 touchdown. Like the big problem is they need to give Najee Harris to Baltimore. They have to. There's no way.
They can't even do that though.
I know, but there's no way that you have Big Ben, who's almost 40 years old, throwing the ball 41 times. There's no way. And that's when you fire your offensive coordinator, in my opinion. That's when you fire him. Because he doesn't know what he's doing.
They were losing though. Like,
but I get it. I get that. I really do. But there's no way that you don't run the ball more. I mean, because you can't establish a play action if your run game's not good. Or if you're not even attempting it.
Yeah, but I think another thing is their offensive line isn't that good either.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I mean, Mike Tomlin came out and said he's going to promise some changes this week. So somebody's getting fired. Somebody is. Because, there's no way that I know this offense isn't great. I know. But there's no way that you only run the ball 8 times, in my opinion. I think you have to throw it. You have to run it. Like, Najee's the type of running back that you have to get him in between 16 and 24 rushes a game. You have to run the ball at least that many times. You have to. Because he's like a Derrick Henry. Like, there's going to be one of those big runs that's going to go for 60 yards. Not saying that's every game, but that's gonna happen. And so if you don't run the ball, you won't know. In my opinion,
right.
But on the other hand, the Bengals need to continue to play like this if they want to make noise in the playoffs. I think there's no way that they're gonna make it far if they take their foot off the gas. If the consistency comes back, if they have one of those off games that we all know the Bengals will have, they have to play good football throughout all 4 quarters.
But I think that they're a team that people aren't going to want to play either.
Oh, for sure. Because if they get heated up with, like, if their offense get hot with Mixon, with Higgins, with Burrow. Chase, with Burrow as well, and Tyler. If they all get hot and that ball, man, they could be a very scary team. But it's just a matter of them keeping their composure, in my opinion. That's what I think it is.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's all I got for that game. Gonna move over to, Falcons and Jacksonville.
Didn't watch a second of that game.
Yeah, that game was horrible to watch.
Cordell Patterson, though, went off in fantasy for me this week. Like, went off. Like, in the first half, he had, 16 points. But other than that, no, this is terrible. My guy, Trevor Lawrence, gotta love him. 23 for 42, 228, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Whose fault is it right now coming out of Jacksonville?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's somebody's fault. It's just Urban Meyer hasn't been that great, but I think it's just he's been terrible, but I think we need to give him another year to determine if he's bad or not. Sure. I just think it's a rookie. The two important positions that y'all have, quarterback and head coach are both rookies in the NFL. So that's gonna, to me, like, this year is just a feeling it out year, seeing what do they like to do, what do they not like to do, and stuff like. So right now it's just up from here.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying they'll be a playoff team next year, but they'll definitely be, their offense will look a lot better and make better strides than it is this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree. Listen, I agree with everything you just said. I do think this is a feel out year for them as well, and it's the year where they have to really this is like identity year. This is where you look and see what we need to draft, what we need to pick up, where we need to go from here. Because right, like you said, they're at the bottom right now, and
Right.
in order for them to go up, it's time to make adjustments. It's time to make decisions in off season that equivalent to something good. You know, I mean, they're in that division with Houston, Colts, Tennessee. Like, it's not gonna be an easy division. So, I think for them, they have to capitalize on their chances and win games. But yeah, Atlanta's done. Is Matt Ryan retired or no? Just a quick question.
He'll probably stay another year.
How many more do you think he has?
Well,
2 years tops.
I think he needs to retire because nothing against him. It's just Atlanta's just, to me, it's like, it's funny because it's like they're trying to, obviously everyone's trying to be a win now team and whatnot. Yeah. But to me, if you look at their roster and stuff, they're more of a rebuild than a win now team.
Yep.
Because, they got Kyle Pitts, which was a great pick for him, but literally your number one receiver is not playing football right now, and I doubt he'll play any more games this season. Then, you got, and then your defense is terrible like usual.
Yep. I mean, listen, I think Matt Ryan right now is he is 36 years old. So if he got 2 more years, he'd be playing for 38. Like, I personally don't. I think next season is his last, because like you said, they are in a state right now where they need to be in the rebuild phase. They need to just look at.
Yeah.
I mean, if they like something at the quarterback position coming out, I mean, if they like something this season, they should pull the trigger and go for it. If they like something coming out next season, then they should wait, let Matt play that final season, and then pull the trigger and go for it. But I think right now that team is not a win-now team at all. I still do think that they're 6 years out at least. Well, not 6. They're 4 years out from being good again. I mean, because I think they still need to get a new quarterback in. They need to still get O-line, because that's just terrible. But yeah, listen, this Falcons team is who's I know I like comparing these bad teams, but who will be better first?
Atlanta. The Jags really don't, unless like Trevor Lawrence takes a leap, but like Jacksonville doesn't really have as many pieces as the Falcons do.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree with that statement about Atlanta. I think, but Atlanta always knows how to win 1 or 2 games in the division against each team every year, and so they just know how to play our division to their strengths, and I think that's one big reason why they like to know how to win games. Jacksonville is just still Jacksonville, and they're in a really hard division as well.
That definitely the division is definitely something they have to take account for. But I think, to me, they're very, like, the player they have and stuff, it's kind of similar if you really look at it. Like, they have, like, their offense is both just atrocious. Both of their defenses are just not there. So, like, honestly, like y'all said, the only difference is Atlanta knows how to win a few games, and their division is weaker than that Bills division.
Yeah.
So,
Wait, Bills.
Yeah.
Bills.
Yeah. The Bill. Yeah, they're in the. Wait, no.
Nope.
Wait.
Colts,
No,
Tennessee,
Jacksonville's in the Colts, Tennessee.
and Houston.
But like,
No. Don't even try
that's
it.
actually that changed a lot of things. Now, if you think about it,
I don't think so. I think they are not better.
Better than Colts or Tennessee, and I think they can win any games against Colts or the Titans.
but
Wait, you said
it's not,
who's better than the Colts in Tennessee?
Jacksonville. He said they could beat those teams.
Oh
you
God.
catch them on a bad game. They caught the Bills on a bad game this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
But
you never know.
When they have playoff aspirations, both of them, I don't think they're going to be trying to play bad.
Yeah.
I mean, well, nobody tries to play bad. It's
Well,
just,
yeah.
it's just. I think that Jacksonville next year they can. It's like we always say, it's division games.
Yeah.
Division, like they play, like, and I just think they can at least get one against those teams next. I'm talking about next year. This year, this is no like that. To me, it's very close. The more I think about it, they're both not very good teams. The slight edge goes to Atlanta, though.
Yeah.
Reading something real quick off Twitter. The NFL draft order right now, after 12 weeks. Lions got the first pick. Texans, Jacksonville at number 3. The Jets have 4 and 5. Giants have 6 and 7. Eagles have 8 and 9. And then the Panthers have 10.
Wait, did you just say?
I just said Jets have 2, Giants
Yes.
have 2, Eagles have 2. Yes.
And are they all back to back?
Yep. They're all back
Yep.
to back to back.
And it's funny because like I said, I wouldn't be shocked if only one QB goes because all those teams are not looking for quarterbacks. And they
Jets
have
don't
2
need a
first-round
quarterback.
picks.
Giants don't need a quarterback. Eagles don't need a quarterback. I think Jets, Giants, and the Eagles, all 3 will be looking for offensive linemen and corners.
But it's not that I don't think. But the problem is they have top 10 picks, and I don't.
Well, actually,
think they'll draft
I wouldn't
a
say
corner.
corner. I would not. I take that back. I wouldn't say corner. I wouldn't.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a pass rusher is in the mix.
Sure.
Possibly a pass because there's pretty good defense ends in this draft.
Yeah.
Pass
Yeah.
rusher, maybe receivers,
But mainly O linemen, I think, are going to come off the board.
O lineman
that's
definitely
the
going to be
best,
off the board for them. Especially the Giants. The Giants, they need to get offensive line help ASAP.
Man, I would hate to be a Panthers fan. Like, what if the Lions take an O lineman? What if all like the top 9 take almost all good O linemen off the board, and then you're stuck at 10?
I think, but the Lions, they're not going to get offensive linemen. They're going to
No,
get
of course
defensive end from Oregon.
They're gonna
Yeah, I
get
know
they're
what
gonna get
you're saying.
Thibodeau.
But I know what you're saying. Like, what if they get linemen, and it just leaves whoever needs a lineman just for whoever. But linemen, to me, in all drafts, they're always deep. Like, you can always find a hidden gem, and that's all for most.
Oh, for sure. I agree.
But I think for offensive linemen, you can find a hidden gem in like the 4th round, maybe. Like,
Saints are good at that.
so I mean, yeah, it's gonna suck. But like, let's say the top 10 and teams pick like 8 offensive linemen. I guarantee you more than half of them are gonna be bust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just all you got to figure out who's that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's crazy looking at those draft picks in order like that. So through 12 weeks. But yeah, next game we're going to jump into is the Rams and the Packers.
Rams and the Packers. Oh, yeah. That wasn't really surprising that the Packers won.
Yeah,
Packers Rodgers came in, played. The defense came in, played. And what's going on with Matthew Stafford? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
He's missing passes, man.
Listen,
like he's looking like he's playing for the Lions, man.
Right.
Like, I don't understand what's going on. Cooper Kupp didn't have the best game. Henderson didn't have the best game. 16 carries, 55 yards. Like, I mean, Rodgers genuinely won this game. Rodgers and their defense won this game.
Yeah.
Because the
definitely.
Rams scored 11 in trash time in the 4th quarter, but like that's it. Like this game was over leaving the third quarter, and I think everyone knew that. Can the Packers go far? Far meaning Super Bowl.
Honestly, there's a lot of factors that have to go into it. Like, I don't know, the biggest one is definitely going to be Aaron Rodgers. Like, is he
You think
gonna?
you think he's the fact? I mean, like he's the question mark on this team.
It's not even that the question mark because of his play, because obviously he's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the decisions he makes. Like
COVID.
Like
Yeah.
let's say Rodgers is the type of guy. I'm not saying he'll do it, but he's the type of guy to just be like, oh yeah, I'm not playing this game because I don't want to.
That's 100% a fact. I completely agree with that.
So it's just like you just don't know what to expect from Rodgers leading up into the playoffs and whatnot. Yeah, obviously he's gonna play, but you never know. Like maybe he injures because I know he has a really bad toe injury.
Yeah,
really bad. So maybe it gets worse. Maybe it gets better. That's another thing. It all dictates on Rodgers because if they have Rodgers and Rodgers is playing well, that team is hard to beat.
Yeah, and they just had a bye week this week, and he declined to have surgery on the toe.
Right.
But listen, I don't think Rodgers is a question mark. I honestly think, and not really call him a question mark, but I think when it comes to Rodgers, it's like he needs to be a good teammate, right? Like he needs to make that sacrifice that everybody else is making because right now he's and this has just been this season. This has been his entire career. He's been a selfish, like if I don't get my way, then no one's gonna get their way type of quarterback. I mean, we saw that in week 1 when they lost to the Saints. Let's just be real. That's what it was. But now I think if he plays like this for the rest of the season, I think they have potential to be Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, most definitely.
What's going on with the Rams? Stafford?
Yeah, like you said earlier, they just lost their identity. Like I remember they were a team on offense. It was like hard to keep them from scoring.
It was like they scored every possession.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a great rushing attack. The offensive line was playing good. Cooper Kupp was playing phenomenal. But now I think a lot has to do with they're trying to do the same stuff, but teams have been watching film on them this year. And they're doing the same things. And teams are like watching that. And they're like, oh, well, if we do this and that, that's going to discourage them from running these plays and whatnot. So I think that has to do with it because teams starting to figure them out. Yeah. So I think Sean McVay, as a head coach, which he'll do, is he needs to sit down with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Odell, and that offense. And the defense isn't playing that good either.
No, they said Rodgers hit 36 on him in 3 quarters. That's not good at
all.
Yeah.
So I think the tough thing that people don't realize, their defense is not playing to how they're supposed to play.
Not at all.
Like they're not getting to the passer. They're letting people complete passes.
Jalen Ramsey looks like a clown out there. Let's be real. He let Devontae Adams get 8 receptions, 104 yards on him.
Right, but I just don't know what's going on. But I do know this: McVay and that offense, they'll switch it up, and that offense will be back to how it was earlier. And then the defense, they'll get better because they can only get better. Like I keep saying this, but they can only get better because they have Von Miller and Aaron Donald. And
Jalen Ramsey.
There.
I mean, you have 3 of the best defensive players in this league.
Right.
Yeah.
But having Aaron Donald and Von Miller, that right there is going to scare offensive linemen if they can get it together. Because who are you double teaming?
I was about to say, you have to double both of them.
And then also, if you double both of them, to me, that means the other players have to step it up.
Yep.
Like the guys on the other side, let's say the other D tackle, the other defensive end, they have to step it up and they have to play phenomenal. And that's gonna be the key for them to win games.
I generally want to go back and rewatch this game because I just want to see how Green Bay stops those two. Because I mean, let's be real. Unless this ball is getting out of Aaron Rodgers' hands like that, then there's no. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that this Rams defense allowed 36 points in the first 3 quarters because it didn't score any in the fourth. But yeah, that's all I got. Matt, you got something to say, Matt?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, the Rams need to be concerned if they want to make a push for the Super Bowl because they went all in. Packers look really good. I could see this being a NFC Championship rematch in the future. Again, yeah, I mean, what y'all were saying, their defense just needs to step up. You know, Aaron Donald's getting triple teamed out there. Von Miller's getting double teamed. So
there's somebody that's going to be open. Somebody else. I mean, if you're
someone's got to be open.
Let's say you rush 5 every time. They're both getting double teamed. Someone else has to get to the quarterback fast.
Right.
And like with Rodgers, it seemed like a lot of their plays were just very quick, check down, like. So you have so that's kudos to Matt LaFleur. Low key, he's probably the coach of the year this year.
I agree.
He's been really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean Rodgers is just freaking insane. The throws he makes, like under pressure and stuff. I mean, I'm watching some of these highlights and he just looks ridiculous. But yeah, I'll say this. I think this will be a NFC Championship rematch. Boy, it'll be interesting who wins that the second time.
I think
so.
If this is the NFC Championship rematch, you would have to see a bounce back by
the Rams.
No, not even that. I'm talking about like coaching wise. You would have to see a bounce back from Sean McVay. You would have to see because in my opinion, I think Sean McVay is one of the smartest head coaches in this league. But I think he would have to genuinely do his job in order to beat this Packers team because, like you said, Matt LaFleur is right now running the rings around him because he scored. They did so well on this game. But yeah, next game we're gonna move into real quick. Vikings and the 49ers, man. I don't think the Vikings are good in my opinion. Okay, I'll take that back. I wouldn't say the word good. I said I don't think the Vikings are as good as people say they are, in my opinion.
I think the Vikings have a good roster, but they have no discipline. Like, 49ers were running all over them. Like, it was bad. Like, they could, and if you can't stop the run, good luck. Because if you look at it, most of these top teams have great rushing attacks. So if you can't stop that, you might as well just hang it up right then and there.
Jimmy didn't look terrible either.
Jimmy didn't look terrible at all.
I mean, he doesn't have to do a lot for that offense to be good.
No.
Right. He just has to make the right throws.
Yep. We've been saying this a little bit more recently that Jimmy hasn't looked too bad. I mean, but Elijah Mitchell ran the ball 27 times, 133 yards, 1 touchdown. He's been playing really better since coming back from injury. Yeah, I like we said a little bit earlier in the podcast, this 49ers team is they're in stride. Like they are firing on all angles. Defense is stepping up a little bit more now. I think they still need to let those keep those opponents under 20 points a game at least. But if their offense, I mean, I know they have. If their offense keeps putting up 30 points a game, then they're a team to be feared as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, ultimately I don't think the Vikings move on this season from Zimmer. But I would hope so.
I think so.
Like in my opinion,
go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna say, so like with like Delvin Cook's situation, do you bring him back? So like basically, no, not saying they'll get rid of him. I'm saying, if they lose like maybe a couple more games, they're not going to make the playoffs.
You
So
might
it's
as
like,
well
why
sit him.
risk him playing again?
Just
The
sit him.
only time they would bring him back is if they have a guaranteed playoff spot.
I mean, but do you really think
No.
they're gonna? Oh, okay. So what? Because he's gonna be out for the next at least 2 weeks, right? I mean,
Right.
if they lose
They might
one.
put him on.
If
They might
lose,
put him on IR.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if they lose one or two of those, I think you being smart about the future, you have to sit him down. You have to.
Yeah, I mean, and like Madison's a really good backup. When he was replacing Cook, he looked really, really good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, if they were smart for the future, I'd say sit them and pray you make a playoff push. Because this offense can still do it with Jefferson and Thielen.
Right.
And if Kirk can just stay somewhat consistent. So, yeah, I mean, they're not out of it. It'll be fun in the NFC to see who comes out of there.
Because you really don't. I just know the 49ers, they're a lock for being in the playoffs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
That's a
agree.
good
I do agree.
Like we said about Washington and them, like they're clicking right now on all cylinders. But yeah, next game we're gonna move on and talk about Browns, Ravens. Was it Sunday Night Football? Was it? Yeah.
This
Yeah.
game,
I watched this
couldn't
game
watch it,
too.
but I heard this game was supposed to be really bad.
Okay. So I remember I watched the first half of this game. Let me tell you about the first half. So the first half of this game, Lamar Jackson threw 3 picks. There was a fumble. There was a PAT block return home or something. There was a lot. It was a mess. Like, I don't think I've seen so bad of quarterbacking and so many flags come out in a second quarter. It was so bad.
Like they were just trying to figure out who gonna have the most turnovers. Like Lamar threw a pick, then Landry fumbled.
Yep.
And then Lamar threw a pick right back to him.
And then stuff like that. And then they like went down and scored 3. And then Lamar threw another pick, and I was like, this game is dumb. What are we watching right now?
And then I think Baker fumbled right after that.
It's just a whole bunch of crap, man. But second half, Lamar came out. I think he threw another pick because he had 4 on the day, which
he had 4.
Nuts, right? Absolutely nuts. But he came out and ran around and gave them a pass touchdown to win the game. Is the Browns season over?
Yeah, especially in that division.
I think it's over because, like, Baker is hurt. Like, the injury this man playing through. It's
ankle,
unreal.
Shoulder,
heel.
It was crazy. Just watching him get hit last night.
Yeah, and I'm like, and if I was him, I would just sit. Like, I know they have a chance, but it's just like him playing hurt against, like, if they made it to the playoffs, and him playing hurt against like New England, like, obviously we saw what happened.
Yeah.
Or Buffalo. It's crazy because it's like the Browns, you always come in each year, these past years, you come in with these high expectations for them, and then they just let you down. And they have and it's weird. It's like you don't really know what exactly is their problem. They have a top offensive line, top running back duo. Look, the receivers fit their scheme. They don't need no superstar receiver because they want to run the football. Good tight ends, a pretty serviceable defense. Like, their secondary got better. They have 2 first-round picks for their defensive ends, which is insane. First overall picks. And they have good linebackers. So it's just like, what's the problem? Is it the coaching? Is it Baker? Like, what is it?
I think I know he's hurt. I think some of it's Baker. I think some of it's coaching because I think they are trying to do too much of too many different things. Like you say on one hand that you are a run heavy team, but you have Baker throw the ball 37 times. Baker's hurt, but you have Baker throw the ball 37 times. Kareem Hunt only ran the ball 7 times. Chubb's playing, isn't he?
Yeah,
Chubb's
but
playing. Chubb's
Yeah,
playing.
Chubb's back. Bring
But
Hunt's back.
he ran the ball. Let me look. I mean, he ran the ball 8 times. Like, I mean, this isn't what you're trying to do. I mean, if you say you're one thing, but if you say you're one thing, but you do the other, that's not going to work. I mean, if you're going to be a run-heavy football team, then you run the ball 10 times at least each with those two. And I know that y'all said that, okay, you can't run the ball when you're down. I mean, they really weren't down in this game. So they still had opportunities to establish a play actions and stuff like that. Like and so that's my problems right now with them. But Lamar can't throw. No, Lamar can't throw at all.
Oh man, here with this man. Here we go.
Okay.
Bad game.
I'll take that back. I'm not saying he can't throw, but he threw 4 picks.
No, that was just like one of the worst games I've ever seen him play.
That was terrible.
For both sides.
Yeah, for sure.
That was ugly.
I mean, in the first half, it was so funny, man. I think it was like in the middle of the second quarter before all the picks started. He literally ran the ball like 16, like 10 times. Like they were just like option draw plays, and I was like, what? Like this man is the entire offense. But it was crazy. It was just a crazy Sunday night football game. Probably one of the most turnovers I've ever seen in a game.
It was just a bad game.
Yeah, but we're gonna move on to our last game of the week. Genuinely, I watched this entire game. It was really good. Seattle Seahawks and the Washington football team. Hear me now.
Ending. Whoa.
You watched it?
Yeah, I was watching that game. That ending was crazy.
Russell Wilson went down the field, walked down the field on them. I don't personally think it was a. You remember that pass interference call that got called?
Yeah,
that was. Me personally, I don't think that's a pass interference because the ball was like thrown short. Yes, he tugged him, but there's no way he's gonna get back to that ball. But he tugged them. That's what it's gonna be. But honestly, I do like this is my bold prediction. I think Washington holds that 7 spot for the rest of the season. Right now, I think they hold it. I think it's theirs. I think if Washington had an O-line, they would be better. Because we saw whenever they weren't blitzing, you saw when they gave Taylor Heinicke time, and he had decisions to make, how good he was. He was 27 for 35, 223, 1 tub, 1 pick. That kid balled out, and he is balling out for Washington right now.
He had a game.
Their offense is almost perfect. I mean, I know they only had 17 points, but they looked really, really good. They did what every team wants to do, and like you said earlier, Freddie, you see all the good teams right now. They all have really good run games. Gibson ran the ball for 29 times, 111 yards. Their backup, who I think actually got hurt. Yeah, J.D. McKissick. I mean, he only got 30 yards. Yeah, he got lit up, and not lit up, but he was out on the field for a little while. So hopefully he'll come back and better. But yeah, I mean, they just looked like an all-around good team last night. Wilson, though, that's gonna be a big chunk of this time, though. He's a question mark for me. And their running game, because that was non-existent last night.
I mean, they don't really have a good running back.
I get that, but at the same time, you just can't just escape it. I mean, that's why they took. That's why they took out DK last night. He had 1 target. Oh, he had 1.5 targets. With no, I mean, because it was like thrown in this area, but it was like out of bounds.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you like how I made that up? That's pretty good with it. No, but he genuinely just wasn't good. I mean, they played man the entire time, and put Metcalf in a box. They put Russell in a box. They forced him to make mistakes. They forced him for overthrows. I mean, and you saw late in the game, DK got frustrated, and so they were starting to force the ball to him because he didn't have a target going into the 3rd quarter or 4th quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just crazy to me. that you completely escape the run and you start passing the ball like that was working for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that just see, and I think, and I was telling my, earlier, I think that I could, if they keep losing and have a terrible season, I could see Pete Carroll retire.
Yeah.
Really?
Like I wouldn't, because
I think they need to.
because my thing is Pete Carroll's already old. He's already won a championship. Already had a good dynasty and whatnot. To me, Seattle, it's like they're in a rebuild, but they have no draft picks. So
They have to
I
rebuild
think he'll
now.
retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll retire. It's either this year or next year when if next year they're bad again, he'll retire. But if they're good next year, I think he'll stay. But I could definitely see him. I don't see why he wouldn't retire this year. Like it's a good way to leave.
Pete Carroll
Like,
retiring?
I mean, he's the oldest
They
head
don't
coach.
have anything.
He's 70 years old. I mean, you got a point. That's wow. I did honestly, for some reason, hasn't crossed my mind.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he did. He's the oldest coach in the league. They're like, to me, they're like a rebuild. They need to fix the offensive line. The defense is terrible, not that, but they've been playing a lot better. I can admit that.
But agree to
the
that.
defense is good. They have no running back. Chris Carson's status is like, you just never know.
He's out. He's on IR right now.
Yeah, but
Well,
you don't
for the
know if he's
future.
gonna come back.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
it's a
good
pretty
point.
serious injury.
Yeah.
And they have two good receivers, but I just think they need another threat. Like, because it seems like DK, it's easy to take him out of the game.
Yeah. And they
seems
did.
Right, it's easy to take him out the game and him not being a factor. And then Tyler Lockett, it's like he's either really good or he's just not really there. So I think they need another receiver. They need better offensive line. They need better defenders and stuff like that. And I think they're in rebuild.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
The only way they can rebuild is they would have to trade Russ.
I was just about to say that. I think that's what's going to happen.
Because that's the only way you're going to get draft picks. That's the only way you're going to get depth. It sucks. Yeah, you're losing Russ. He's a great player, but it's like there's nothing in Seattle right now.
Nope.
Like they're bad. They're really bad.
You start Geno,
They went all in on Jamal Adams, and he's been mediocre.
Yes.
He's just been like I wouldn't say the
He's been in the box.
He's been a really good run defender. He's probably the best run defending safety in the league. But if you're trading all your picks and whatnot and paying this man, he needs to be able to do everything you need him to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
And he's just. What were you about to say?
Now the Jets have 2 top 5 picks because of this.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're just giving him away. Like that could have been like a franchise player for y'all.
Yeah.
Right.
And now you're giving the Jets 2 potential franchise players.
For a guy that's just, to me,
that's very average. More of a linebacker than a safety.
Honestly, I think because of his size, that's why he's a safety. That's literally it.
Yeah.
But right now I'm on Team Washington football team. I'm 100% on the bandwagon. I think Ron Rivera has really coached his team, and it means something. Like it means something to them. Like they're not playing right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I really have for that game. That's it for week 12, man. It was
crazy.
That was a really good game, man. So many different twists and turns, but because Elijah's not here this week, I'm gonna quickly say our standings for our predictions. Eli is sitting at 78, 53 and 1. Matt, you're at 72, 58 and 1. I'm at 76, 55 and 1. Them 2 games behind Elijah and Freddie. You're right now. You are what?
You're creeping up.
5.
You have a chance.
67, 60 and 3.
I'm sick. I have 67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're, what, 5 games, 6 games behind? 5 games behind.
Okay. Wait. What? Do I have 3 ties?
I think
Because you didn't put in like half of yours or like 2 of them.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That makes sense. Yep. Well,
but right now, we're going to do some predictions real quick and get out of here. First game.
Oh, hold on.
Hold
on. Before Freddie, so we made this clear last week. Whatever
yes.
you say on the podcast, you have to stick with. You can't change it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
That's
fine.
That's all I'm saying. All right.
That's fine with me.
Thanks.
I never changed them.
You weren't the one that trained. You weren't the cheater. The cheater's not here today.
I'm just.
Oh yeah, I know. I was
again.
just calling Elijah out when he listens to this later, because he's gonna listen, and he's gonna not like that. He's gonna text me about it. But anyway, bye weeks for week 13 gonna be the Browns, which they really need. Green Bay, I guess they need it for Rodgers' foot. Tennessee, they need that as well, and Carolina as well to figure out if they're gonna start tanking or not. But first game on Thursday Night Football, Saints, Dallas.
I got Dallas.
How about them Cowboys?
I got New Orleans.
Okay.
I got my Saints, man. This is one of the first times this season that I have said it, but I got my Saints this week. Next game, Tampa, Atlanta.
Tampa.
Tampa.
Next game, Chicago, Arizona.
Arizona.
When's Kyler back?
I think he's
back. He's supposed to be back this week.
I hope so, man. Next game, Bengals, Chargers. Ooh, Bengals at home.
I got Bengals.
Bengals as well.
Yeah, I'll go. I'll go Bengals.
Man, I do love me some. It's fine. Next game, Detroit and Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Oh,
okay.
Well, I'm sorry. What were the two teams? I'm sorry.
Lions and the Vikings.
I got Detroit.
Are you serious?
I got Detroit.
You okay? All right. I'm not gonna beg you to switch. Next, Miami Giants.
Miami.
They're just they're 4 straight right now. Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
Next game, Eagles Jets.
Eagles.
Eagles as well. Yeah, I guess. Houston Colts. Washington, Las Vegas. Washington.
I'm going Vegas.
I'm going with Washington football team. Rams, Jacksonville.
Rams.
Wow.
I think it's a much needed win for the Rams.
Rams. Jesus.
The Rams have had some easy opponents.
Yeah, their schedules are pretty easy.
They need this one though. Next game, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore as well. 49ers, Seattle Seahawks. 49ers.
Niners.
Denver, Kansas City.
Kansas City
at home. And then the game of the week probably. Bills, Patriots.
Ooh.
That is so tough.
Patriots all the way, baby. Give it to me.
I'm going to go Buffalo.
That's so tough.
Give it to me.
Oh, man. I wouldn't be surprised if New England can't. Wait, where is it at?
It's in Buffalo.
Ooh, I think I got Buffalo.
Actually, wait a minute. It's a Monday Night Football at Buffalo.
Basically, the division's on the line.
Well, they play again, though.
Yeah, but still, like, if Buffalo wins, then they tie.
Yeah.
And Buffalo may have the edge, but I don't know.
I'm going with
the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Freddie?
He said Buffalo.
I'm going with Buffalo.
Okay.
I'm going with the Bills too.
That was rough, man. That was hard to say. But Yeah, that's been us for the day, man. That was our predictions. That has been us talking about this week's NFL Week 12 news. Excuse me. If you made it to this far, thank you for listening. Really appreciate it. But yeah, man. Matt, Freddie, thank y'all for coming on. Ready for next week,
Thank
man.
you. Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one again. But yeah, that's been all for me, man. I have been your host, Davion.
Oh, I've been
And I'm
Freddie.
Matt. Freddie! Come on, bro.
My apologies. My
I'll play it.
sincere
I'll play it.
apologies.
I'll play it.
And this has been the post game. Y'all take it easy.